It's Wednesday, November 22nd, 2023. My name is Terry Morgan, and we are here to practice. I'm going to continue a little bit what I've been doing this week, and we talk about future, and we talk about perception, and we'll pay a little bit more attention to some of the particulars for each of the arts that I teach and practice. Just a little bit. I'm not going to reteach everything in one class, right? This idea of future, that what we've done in the past is our foundation, that we develop our foundations in the martial arts, that certain things, of course, stance, basic standing methods, basic hand methods, certain things are fundamental and common across all systems. Everybody's got a front kick, everybody's got a straight punch, right? Seriously, everybody's got a front heel kick, everybody's got a straight punch. Not everybody is standing with a cup of coffee in their hand while they're doing it, but it's, there's that. The idea is that those foundations follow us and help us understand whatever else it is we're doing, so that we've got a foundation to work from. If you don't develop that foundation, everything else will be unstable. If you don't develop your ability to stand, stay there. I stay here for quite a long time, actually. If you don't develop that ability, then every time you do any form, doesn't matter what it is, any form, your standing posture will be incomplete. It won't be solid. It won't be connected. It won't be grounded, stable, well placed, so that every other part of the body is also grounded and stable and well placed, and that everything is collected together so that it's very natural, it's very easy. I could stand here, probably not all day, but I could stand here for quite some time and it'd be okay. If you can't, if you haven't learned, I just talked about the physical aspects, the mental aspect of allowing yourself to not move. Stand here. I'm not going to fidget. I'm not going to move around. I'm just going to stand here. My facial expression changed, but I wasn't moving. That skill, developing that skill, is part of the concept that we have of being still, and that idea that when one part moves, all parts move. When one part is still, all parts are still. That is a real thing that we develop a skill to be able to do. Xingyi requires that immediate response. Tai Chi requires that coordinated, relaxed foundation that comes through as we move. That stability that is part of movement. Bagua doesn't require, Bagua demands that sense of stability. Otherwise you will fall over. That a sword even more so, if you're not grounded and well placed right here, then the idea that you're going to be able to extend with a sword, a broadsword, staff, short staff, your choice of whatever else it is you might want to have in your hand. There are lots of objects that are part of traditional martial arts. Whatever it is, you won't be able to fully use it. You won't be able to fully extend into it and through it without being able to stand. It's simple, it really is. And sometimes the simplest things are the hardest ones to do. It's really true. Feet about shoulder width apart, bend the knees, wiggle the fingers, wiggle the toes. Pull up through the back, basic stretch, and circle to the front. Back around to both sides. Up along the center line. And reach out. Roll through the whole body as you extend out, and especially as you come up. So from the base of the spine up. One more time, reach out. Bend the knees, drop the hip, drop the waist, pull up, fingertips up, elbows drop down, wrists, hands return to your sides. Alright, this idea of perception and connections and what we have done, what we are doing, what we're looking for, what is going to come next, what are we looking at, what's coming next. I have a little bit of that, and it's partly what we're doing right now, where I have a particular concept or there is some element in study of the martial arts, and my own study is, that's what I'm taking most of this from, is my own study. I've got 40 years, I'm good. That idea, that take some of that perception, some of that perspective, and bring it into some of these lessons, more than just, here's the movement, here's what we're doing, that sort of thing. This combination is something that I've noticed is incomplete. I'm gonna use that word, incomplete. Part of what's incomplete is the cultural references. Like, what is that? What is façon? What façon? Façon. 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 What does that mean? It means relax. Yeah, but not really. It means be alert. Yeah, but not only. It means pay attention, but don't be so absorbed in paying attention to something that you lose paying attention to everything, right? It's that openness to pay attention to everything around you. Façon. Fa, extend, send out, literal meaning. Son, relax, but with energy, with liveliness, with substance. Not, okay, I'm relaxed now. And can I have a pillow? No, not that kind of relaxed, okay? That concept That's what I showed several versions of. But it's probably still not clear if this is the first time you've ever heard it. It's still not quite there. Awesome, what do I do with that? It's more about what you don't do. Santivo. Façon. Façon. Hào dia. Façon. Let me show you what you don't do. This is the not part. Don't do this. Alright? My legs are tense and locked, and it's really hard to stand here. My shoulders are pulled in. My chest is collapsed. I can't really breathe. My hands are lined up good. My hands are lined up perfectly right there in front center line. My back is rounded. No, don't do that. Façon. Everything naturally straight, well positioned. No. No. Yes. I'm hoping that my exaggeration shows in the video this idea, this concept. If you don't know what it means, yeah, okay, what am I supposed to do with that? I don't know. You haven't been introduced to it. You don't understand, and that's not your fault. It's not. It's you haven't met the concept. You haven't met somebody who can explain it. You haven't been in situations and circumstances where it was used by someone who really knows what it means. And so you never learned it. It's not because it's because you weren't there. Okay? 1988, 89. Tournament. Façon. The only way that I managed to do some of the things that I've done is through that idea. Façon. Relax. Can't do anything if you're tense. You can't do anything if the only thing you're paying attention to is how nervous you are. You can't. If I get up on stage and I'm looking out and there's a whole bunch of people, or when I was competing, I get up, it's going to be my turn, I'm over here, I'm getting ready, and oh my gosh, these judges are hard today. Oh boy. What am I going to do? I don't know. It's going to be really tough. Oh boy. Gosh, I don't know. I don't even know what I'm doing out here. What am I don't know. If I did that, I wouldn't have any of the trophies that I have. It wouldn't be there. Façon. I'm here. I'm ready. I've been practicing. I know what I'm going to do when I walk into this ring. I have a set that I choreographed, and I've been practicing that set over and over again. I'm ready. Breathe. It's your turn now. Alright? That preparation Foundation, knowing what I'm going to do. I didn't choreograph something that I can't do, right? In practice, there may be things that I won't do as well as I might. There may be things that I will do, yeah, reasonably well, and there will be things that no, I ain't gonna do that. That's not happening today. And in competition, in exhibition, the things that I don't do well, don't go into that choreography. Why would I do that? My foundation, performing arts, dance, theater training, I should give a nice performance. And I talk about this frequently, the difference between practice and performance. If I came out every day and gave a performance, right? I do sort of. I'm here on camera. I came out, but I'm trying my very best to work more with the idea of asynchronous communication, that what I'm saying is to a group of students who may not be in the same room with me at the same time, but are trying to learn and are trying to pay attention. That concept gives me a whole range of things that I will do and that I'm not really going to do. So my showing off and performance, yeah, I'm going to put some stuff up where I do that. Every day? No. It's counterproductive, because when we're working with performance, I picked which movements I'm going to do. Right? I chose this movement because I can do it well and because I could probably get more points for this. Right? In Shenyi, yeah, let me go here. Set. Yeah, I'm not going to jump very high. Set. Right? That was correct. Second one was right. First one, yeah. Iffy. It's okay. I'm okay with that. The jump itself, not all that great. I should have a little bit more height, and I should be traveling a little bit more. Starting from a standstill forces me to pay attention to that. I don't have that dynamic that I would have if I had done all the movements prior to that, right? So here. All of that was mush. It was, yeah, there. The opening movement, I'm going to fix that. Xingyi. Step in, step back. Step in, down, up, down. Hao Chuan. Slice. For the space, it was correct. I would like to have had a little more room to move, but it was alright. I can always get better. Several places have coordinated movement. Several places have very directed movement. That's Xingyi, right? Coordinated, direct. I'll try. This particular placement, particular methods, the way the body moves belongs to Xingyi. The perception, is this correct, is this not correct? How do we judge? And I talked about that quite a bit. What do we look for? Placement, position, does this person look like they're wobbling, or are they pretty solid, right? In Tai Chi, we have a different kind of requirement. Fresh knee from the Yang style, that fluid, flowing movement, and here, here. Both are correct. Do that again. Set. Both of those movements, fresh knee, are Yang style, and they are both correct. The first one I learned from Huang Wei Lun, the second one I learned from Yang Zhendo. Wudang style. It's more of a twist. Fresh knee. Low elbow. Brush knee, twist step. That's what it means. We get it as brush knee. And that goes back to part of my earlier discussion on perception. If you don't know what façon means, how are you going to be able to do it? Low elbow. It makes so much more sense. Brush knee, twist step, than brush knee. If you think about how the name of the movement, and for all of the martial arts that I practice, the names of the movements started in Chinese. So it's like ballet, the names of the movements are in French. Right? In Chinese martial arts, the names of the movements are in Chinese. If you're studying Japanese martial arts, it's going to be in Japanese. Right? That recognition and the little bit of understanding, and that's more than a little bit, that I have of the language and the culture and how my interpretation, my foundation, my learning, my interpretation of all of that fits together in context of what's come before. So it's not that I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna throw everything out and this is mine over here. This is mine over here. I created this. Nope. I'm more traditional. I'm like, here's the tradition and here's my little part, and I'm gonna carry on this tradition by using my little part to contribute to what's already been done. I'm not going to try and reinvent the wheel. I'm not. There are folks who have done that reinvent the wheel. Many of the forms that we have in all of the martial arts, somebody had to invent that. Somebody had to create that. The methods, the practice methods, I just showed three actually. Two for Yang style Tai Chi, here, and here, for Wudang style. Those methods had to be created. Chen style's a little bit different, Wu style's a little bit different. Each one had to be created, and most of the time they were created by someone whose body type and capabilities for movement were enhanced by the way in which the form they created. I'm going to get some advantage from this, right? I'm looking for those things that I can do well. I'm going to put those into my new form and continue to develop that. History has a long, long list of famous martial artists who did just that. It's not a bad thing. Not something I'm going to do, but by itself, it's not a bad thing. Where I personally think that some folks go awry is they try to blend so many different things that really just not quite there. And you just won't ever get there because it's not coherent. It doesn't have that foundation that I would look for. The international competition Tai Chi form includes Yang style, Chen style, Wu style, Wu Hao, Guang Ping Yang. There's five Tai Chi systems blended in that one form. Tour de force for the practitioner to be able to blend and work with all five of those Tai Chi systems. It kind of looks like mush most of the time. Even the folks that have got lots of medals and lots of credit and do really well and have high level of athletic ability, it's still mush. It's still mush. Show me somebody practicing Chen style Tai Chi with all of the elements that I would expect to see in Chen style. That's much more interesting to me. And that's kind of my point. I'm more traditional. I want to look at all of the things that came before, as much as I can. My own foundations, my development, my studies, my own research, other people's research, right? I learned a lot from Professor Liu. Lots and lots I learned. That idea, that perception that there is the body of knowledge, this big body of knowledge that exists, that I've looked at probably this much of it, that I pick and choose what I'm going to work on. I may look at the whole picture. Right now, I can't work on all five of these things. I can't. It's not feasible. It's physically not possible. Can't do it. All right, what am I going to do? Well, I can't do that. No, this one I can do. Well, this one I could do. Well, this one I could do. Okay, so there's three. There's three that I can do, and there's two that, probably not right now. Okay? I know this now. what can I do? I can work on the ones that I think I can work on. And as I'm doing that, pay attention to what I'm not. In practical terms, one of the things that I'm working on is my whole body connection and the ability to coordinate well through each and every movement, along with strengthening my legs. Okay, so I did some stuff yesterday to strengthen my legs. Boy, did I walked quite a bit yesterday. I'm going to walk again this morning, not because I want to, because that's my transportation right now. So, as I'm doing that, my legs are getting stronger. This is something that I absolutely want. I want my low work back, right? That's not very low. It's not. Yeah, I'm not warmed up nearly enough to do too much. 45, give or take. That assessment. What am I doing? Where am I? Right? What do I need in order to do more? In order for me to get my legs to be parallel to the floor, I need to warm up my hip, and I need to develop just a little bit more holding strength through my core here, through my hips, and pulling up so that as I settle down, my hips are not stuck on my legs. They have to be pulled up so that the legs can open. And I need to have the holding strength through the center to support my body. I also, check in here, not sure how far down I'm going to get, but we'll see. So there's another stretch here. That's about it right now. Alright, there we go. That goes all the way down. Yeah, yesterday I was probably okay with that, but then I did all that walking and my legs are really tight, so I'm not going to do that right now. All the way down, coming back up. That's another set that I'm probably going to be adding so that as we're practicing, as I'm coming up here and talking about foundation stuff, that we actually do work on some of those things. As I get clearer, and it's getting pretty clear now, as I get clearer on what I'm doing next, that's going to show up repeatedly, that this idea of foundation and what we're working on. One of the things that I want to develop is a combination of what I've done previously. I've got a bunch of recordings up here on Yahoo, right? I want to take a combination of that, combine that with some new material, which is very much like what we're doing right now, which is that perception, the element of how we look at whatever it is we're paying attention to. I have a error message over here, so I gotta wait for that to clear. Hang on one second. Okay, we have the ubiquitous not enough bandwidth message here. Give it a second. Hang on. The machine is not cooperating with me. Okay, hang on. We may be back. It's not great, but it's not stopped either. It's my apologies again for this. This is one of the things that I'm gonna fix. I have again this idea of future state. Alright, so I think the error is going to clear up here in just a second. It's clear up over here. The connection between whatever we've done in the past. So I talked about this before, that here I am, Yang style Tai Chi. I'm going to, leaning forward, don't lean forward, right? As I transfer my weight, I need to be well placed over my legs so that as I'm moving, I remain well grounded and well placed. The same with Bagua, the same with Xingyi. Everything in good time, in good place, according to what that system asks of us. Okay, and I was talking about this concept of not reinventing the wheel, that it's not necessarily a bad thing. That's how we get all of the martial arts that we have, and somebody decided I'm going to do this a different way, and we develop those skills to address this change, that change, partly based on our own physical capabilities. So I'm not going to work on something that requires a lot of upper body strength. It's the wrong thing for me to do. I don't have a lot of upper body strength. I'm never going to have a lot of upper body strength. It's just not going to happen. My hips, however, that I can use. So, which arts are better for me? Which arts am I going to gain some advantage from? I could go learn something that emphasizes shoulders and then invent my own methods that use my hips. I could. Probably not gonna, but it's possible. That idea, though, that's how we got so many different martial arts. Is somebody said, I'm learning this my body doesn't do this all that well, let me do something else. Or observations from nature, observations from practice with other people. Skills that were developed, martial arts, we're not knitting, right? It's not. So skills that were developed to ward off attackers, right? Skills that were developed in some cases to attack, right? That sense of what we're doing, the origins, the foundations for the practice, our own foundations. What have we practiced? What have we learned? Is there a level of development that we have, that we understand? It's mine. It's not yours, it's mine. My level of development is always going to be mine. Your level of development is always going to be yours. That recognition helps me to understand my perspective. What's my perspective on all of these arts? I talked about that a little bit with the idea that for some things, I find the combinations to be kind of mush. For other things, it seems reasonable and well defined, I guess is a good word. So, mush, for me, the International Tai Chi Competition Forum, it's got 5 different systems in there. Well designed, somebody takes particular movements from one system, puts them together in their form, because those particular movements are those that they're good at. Well defined. That perception, my perception, what's what, comes from my background, my experience, all of that, right? As I'm looking forward, what's next? Part of this perception, a little bit more I think, is something that I want to include in classes so that as we're going through a particular set, a particular movement, as I review some of what I've already done, there's a lot out there, that I can add more. There's more, that I can add more to that, and then bring it together a little bit better. I could improve that a lot, so that it's easier to consume. Okay, so paying attention to some of the things that I've already done, recording demo video, opening movement for Wudang Tai Chi. That sequence, mostly okay. I could go a little bit lower, could be a little bit, my waist could move a little bit more, I need to warm up. If I'm practicing, warming up through practice is part of my goal. If I'm giving a performance, I need to have warmed up before, right? We start out, feet about shoulder width apart, stand straight, right? We start out class, I start every class with that. That basic stretch sets me up to be able to do most of, not all of, most of what we do during class. Some additional work needs to be done to get everything warmed up enough to do more. Okay, shoulders need to get warmed up, hips need to get warmed up, knees, ankles, feet, everything gets warmed up. And we bring what we are going to do into focus. We're going to practice, right? I'm going to practice. This is what we're going to do. As we do that, we bring in all of the things that we bring with us to class. And we look forward to, what am I going to be able to do next? What are we going to learn today? What should I pay attention to that maybe I haven't been paying attention to, but yeah, it's really kind of important, but I didn't know about it? That showed up in a question that I saw online. Person wanted to ask a question of a Shaolin master. Where can I find a real Shaolin master to ask this question? The person was genuine, appeared to be genuine, very humble, trying to be very polite, very curious about the martial arts, what he was learning. He obviously, I want more than just the people in my school. I want a broader base of knowledge. It's a good thing. It's a very good thing. He asked the question in English. On a social media platform that may or may not be available to the Shaolin master that he's seeking. That gap. Genuine person wants to learn, would really like to. I wish I could go to. I can't travel to China, but is there any place, Yet questions that he might want to ask are probably not the kinds of things that he could ask. And how do I become better? How do I become a master of this art that I'm practicing? Practice. 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 That's the answer. Practice. That isn't that's a complex question. No, it's not. It's practice. How do I practice? That's a better question. But he's not going to understand the answer because he already thinks he knows how to practice. He's looking for something he wants. He wants to learn. And again, this is the problem that I'm trying to illustrate. Here's a person who wants to learn. They're looking for something that is highly unlikely. The Shaolin master that this person is looking for is highly unlikely to speak fluent English. It's highly unlikely. It's possible. It's highly unlikely. Some English, yes. Fluent English, abstracts, some certain is probably not. And they want to learn. This is from the master over here. Master over here is going to say, what do you want to learn? I want to learn how to do this move. Okay, here it is. Go practice. I traveled all the way to the Shaolin Temple for you to tell me to go practice. Pretty much. That idea. Not understanding enough. Knowing that you don't quite understand. Wanting to learn. And the gap between wanting to learn and how to learn it. I want to become a master. How can I become a master? Practice. How should I practice? Every day. And pay attention to this and 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 oh, that's not the answer I was expecting. I was expecting follow me, grasshopper, right? That understanding comes from our own practice. It doesn't come from somebody else. If we don't know how to practice, if we don't know enough about what we're doing, that when we practice it's incomplete, something's missing, maybe. How do we find that? Most of the time, the first person to ask is yourself. What am I doing? What should I be doing? Why does this feel the way it does? And what's wrong with me? Is my back straight? Is my posture good? Am I well centered? Am I well placed? Is any of that litany? No. Well, fix it. Fix it. That's it. Fix it. Try again. More practice. That repetition, that refinement is what we work for. That ability to set and move with connection, with intent, where the body is well placed and the movement is clear. It's not mush. I did some mush earlier in class today. There was. I called it out too. Don't do much. Make it clear. And when you look at that foundation, Tai Chi is Tai Chi. It's not Xing Yi, it's not Bagua. It's not Shotokan, it's not Hungar, it's not Lohan, it's Tai Chi. Different styles of Tai Chi have different movements, that are named the same. Which style, how you do the movement, is partly what's been handed down, and partly from how the founder of that system envisioned their own movement, and partly your own movement. Because the things that you do well will always be something that is advantageous to your body type. Heavier through the upper body, things that require more upper body strength will be easier for you to do. You'll like them more. Lower body, things that require the lower body will be easier. You'll like them more. Things that require extension, if you've got the extension, if you take the leg up, then that's going to be something. If you can jump, anything, do the low work. All of those are things that we want to develop. As we do that, as we develop those skills, we build on what we can do. You're not going to build on what I can do. I can't build on what my teacher could do. Either one of them. Okay? Huang Wei-Lun could do groundwork that was absolutely amazing. The man moved like he had no bones in his body. He was that good. And Liu Zhang had a strength and character in every movement that he did, whether he was fully on the ground or whether he was flying up in the air, didn't matter. It was solid, and I would not have wanted to have been on the receiving end of any of it. No. That experience, those teachers, gave me foundation that I have, along with my dance training, to be able to do some of the things I can do today. I recognize that. I know where that comes from. I know how to continue to develop it. That's the point. It's not, what did I do and who's this and the point is, what's your foundation? What do you have? What have you learned up to now? Because there's always more, right? What have you learned up to now that gives you a foundation today for what you're learning right now? What do you need to learn now so that you have that future, right? What you learned before is your foundation for what you're doing now. What you're doing now is your foundation for what you're going to do in the future. What are you going to do? What's your foundation? I'm going to stop here. I'm seeing an error message come back, and I don't want to lose the connection again. So, I'm going to stop here for today. Thank you for being here with me. I appreciate it. I'll be back tomorrow with, tomorrow, even though it's a holiday, I'll be back tomorrow with Wudang Qigong. Thank you. Bye.